what's happening? I want to talk a little bit about the paradiddle diddle. I probably use this rudiment more than I should. I don't know if that's allowed to say, or you should. I don't know. Sometimes you just start using it, and after a while, you're not even sure what subdivision you're in. But I think in order to explain it, I need to talk about the subdivisions, because there's a sticking pattern, and then there's a subdivision. And that's how I think about almost everything. I think about whatever I'm playing in, whatever its home base is in terms of a subdivision, and then how can I manipulate that? Because almost everything we play is either in some sort of straight eighth, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or some sort of triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4, and it could be 32nd notes or 8th notes or 16ths or, 16th note triplets or whatever, but that kind of a thing. So when I can apply a sticking pattern to these different subdivisions, all of a sudden I have all these different uses for it. And it's kind of an incredible thing. Let's just talk about the actual pattern, a couple different ways that I'll think about practicing on a pad, and then a couple different drum set applications. I have a ton of ideas, but I probably won't get to all of them now because it would be too long and maybe boring, or I don't know. First, let's just talk about the actual sticking pattern for a paradiddle diddle. It is a non-alternating rudiment, meaning it keeps going back to the same side. And the sticking pattern is right, left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, left. Or starting on the left-hand side, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right. So you can think about this, it's 6 notes, so it's not going to equal a regular 4/4 thing. Sorry, my ankle itches. The first way I'll probably think about it is maybe you can think of it as 6/8 time, but I usually don't think of things in 6/8 time that much for these reasons. Mostly, sometimes I do. But for these purposes, the way I'm going to apply them, I'm just going to think of them as 8th note triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Has a swing to it. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. I'll play some hi-hat. 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. And that's all starting on the right. It keeps going back to the right side. It doesn't flip-flop. So if I want to practice the other way, I got to start left. So that's one way I can think about them. Another way I can think about them is in 16th note. I'm in a situation here because it's not going to lay evenly against those 16th notes. So if this is my quarter note pulse and I start playing 16th notes, 1 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a da 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 da, and it goes on for a long time. So I think it's good to practice that. But I also think what we'll do for now is put it into a 1 and 2 measure chunk, which is kind of how I apply these things anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it come back to the right-hand side. We're going to play 2 paradiddle diddles in 16th notes, and that's going to get us to the beat 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Then we got beat 4, and we're just going to play 4 16th notes at first here. 4 E and a. And that makes a 1-bar cycle. That'll loop. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So you can loop that and play that starting right or left. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So that's that pattern. But what I like to do often is to make it a yin and yang exercise. So as opposed to just playing 4 16th notes at the end, I'll make it a paradiddle. So I'll go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a paradiddle, and then I'm on the left-hand side and I got to do the same thing. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So that's a nice back and forth way to deal with those 16th notes, and it's something that I'll actually use on the drum set. It's a good way to practice them. When I get to the drum set, a lot of times I'm playing 4 16ths to get out of it straight, but it just kind of all depends on the situation. So here's that exercise. 1, 2, alternating, go. Left, right, left. So there you go. So that's 8th note triplets, 16th notes. You can also think of them as 16th note triplets. So if I'm playing quarters, I'm going to go 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, or 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so then the last way would be like 32nd notes. So as opposed to playing, it's going to be a 2-bar phrase in order to play this. So you're going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. You can think of it that way. So I could play a longer phrase that's 16th notes that way. We'll think of it as 16th first. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So I'm playing 4 paradiddle diddles and then 2 paradiddles, regular single paradiddles at the end. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. That's how I should have done that. And then if you go twice that fast, it'll happen in 1 measure instead of 2. So then you end up with, as opposed to, you get, that's kind of how that winds up working. So that last one there, when it's faster, is 32nd notes. Now, the way that I can apply these to the drum set, which I'm going to jump into now, is limited. I don't want to say limited, often determined by the tempo that I'm playing at. Let's take a jazz thing, for instance. Jazz, basic time, quarter note, subdivision, triplet. So if this is my jazz time, I can actually play a paradiddle diddle within jazz time, but it's not going to start where you think it's going to. So I'll play it first, then I'll talk about it. I was playing a paradiddle diddle, but it starts on beat 2. It doesn't start on beat 1. But if you do that, it plays perfect jazz time, and you're filling in all the triplets on the left hand. I'll do it on the pad just so you can kind of hear it a little bit better, and I'll even switch cameras because we can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So sometimes that can be a little weird to get going on it, but check into that because it's kind of cool. So then you're already there, and you can play starting on beat 1 with a paradiddle diddle and play that twice, and you get a measure of 4/4 time in 8th note triplets. If you move that around a little bit, you can get some fills and stuff. Let me see what happens if I run into that. This is all starting with the right at the moment. So that last one, I got tangled because I was trying to think about something. The moving to the tom-tom. So you can displace them a little bit also. So if I play the first one on the cymbal, second one on a floor tom, I'm already kind of jumping around a little bit, but that's okay. Then you can play this kind of a pattern. And if you saw any of the other videos, I do that kind of thing all the time. I like that a lot. The other thing you can do is you can displace stuff. So you can move maybe the left hand over to the tom-tom for one of the beats. So what if I move the second note of that triplet to this tom-tom? It's going to make everything sound crazy town. Check it out. So if I put that in the context of playing, you've got some cool stuff. There's a lot of different ways that you can apply that, which are sort of cool. So that's all 8th note triplets. Now you can jump up a subdivision from here. And I might go to 16th notes. So as opposed to ding, ding, then you got digga 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 boom. Then I'm going to use that 4/16 at the end. Check it out. So that's paradiddle, diddle, paradiddle, diddle, 1, 2, 3, 4, crash. And now I'm in 16th notes. So all of a sudden I've jumped up to a new thing. It's really kind of a cool deal. You know, there's all this different stuff that you can do. That's two ways that you can use that. And I can jump around between those two. And that's what, with jazz stuff, it's cool because one of the main things that happens is you'll have swung eighths, and you can even play it within that, like this. Then you can play, that's still the paradiddle diddle. Then you can play it as triplet, and you can also play it as 16th. So let me just play it for a second. Hopefully I won't think too much, and then something will sound like I'm combining all these together. So that's swung eight, doom-ga doom-do-da-da, triplet, and then also 16th notes on top of that. So this is fast, and there's a bunch of things you can kind of deal with in that, but that's definitely something that you can use. Okay, so let's keep going from here. I want to talk about this in straight eighth stuff. So if I'm in straight eighth, say I'm at a very slow tempo. So I'm thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and from there, do got to paradiddle diddle paradiddle diddle ba 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 boom. So now I'm using that just as straight 16s. Paradiddle diddle, 1, 2, 3, 4, crash. A couple times I played right, right, left, left because it's slow and you can kind of orchestrate a little bit more. But I like that because if you're moving around on different drums, you can play a single accent. You can leave the hand on there for more of it. Lots of cool combinations just for that. So then we jump up a little bit from there, and we're going to probably be at 16th note triplets. 3, digga 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 boom. Sixteenth note triplets. And I'm just playing a paradiddle diddle. And you can orchestrate that a lot of different ways depending on where you are. And we're going to talk about one other thing you can do in a second, but I'll talk about it now actually, because I don't know how far I'm going to go into all this stuff. At that point there, you can do a couple different things. You can substitute one of the bass, the last left in the paradiddle diddle for a bass drum. So you'll play right, left, right, right, left foot. It just has a great sound, and if you put it in context, you get something kind of like this. So that's just one way to do it. But again, if you start to break these things up around the kit, all kinds of groovy stuff winds up happening. So since we're starting that slow, we can actually go up to that 32nd note thing that we had talked about. And it's going to be two. playing the same stuff over and over again. But as you can see, if I change the subdivision on that, it changes the sound of everything drastically. You know, it does. So it really comes back to, you know, what groove am I playing? What tempo am I at? What subdivisions are available to me? Now, when I'm playing music, I don't want to think about that. And that's why sometimes with certain things like this, like I use this rudiment so much that when I have to break it down this way, I'm like overthinking it and I'm like getting tangled half the time. But it's good practice for me too, I guess. But I use it so much in so many different subdivisions, I just sort of play it and things just kind of, well, usually work out. So a slower tempo, I'm building up. If it's a faster tempo, you know, I could play eighth notes triplet. So how would that even work? You could break it down and play eighth note triplets if it's faster as opposed to that. So if I'm playing, what am I doing here? So there, I slowed it down. That was kind of an okay orchestration. And again, same sticking pattern. Right, left, left on all that stuff. So faster, you can go underneath. Generally, I would say I'm building up in some capacity. So I'm either in swung eighths for jazz, triplets, or 16th notes. If I'm playing a straight eighth groove, depending on the tempo, I'm going to be at 16th notes, 16th note triplets, or 32nd notes. And that's basically, for me, the general places that I'm going to wind up using all this stuff. So that's kind of a lot of it. You can sort of start playing around. You know, I use this kind of in a, so that's a jazz thing, some slower rock stuff. I use it a lot in sort of jam bass stuff, where I might be playing, you know, sort of a medium tempo groove that's sort of perfect for some of these subdivisions to fall into place. A lot of things like this have kind of a nice tempo. I don't know what the tempo marking is, but maybe it's somewhere around here. So you get the idea. So that was kind of a swung thing used in there. Some 16th note triplet, busted up, using different things on the toms. And then also some 32nd notes, which can be moved around a lot. So I really like this rudiment. And you can practice just those couple things on the pad just to sort of get it going. These are the good ones to do. Just that... or the longer version of that, or just regular, you know, the straight paradiddle diddle, left side, or the longer 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, starting right, starting left, and that 16th note pattern can either be that or twice as fast to get you into 32nd notes. So there are a couple ideas about the paradiddle diddle. I felt a little scattered, but I use this rudiment so much that sometimes when you have to break it out and explain exactly which subdivisions you're in, it gets kind of confusing, and then you have to start thinking about it, and then that's weird. So, but like I said, this is good practice for me too. I use this kind of thing all the time. I think this is plenty of enough information to give the idea what's going on, some practical things that you can use on the practice pad, and then a couple of different ways that I think about it on the drum set. If you have any questions, just leave stuff in the comments. I can clarify the video. Happy to do that, and we'll chat with you later. Cool. Take it easy.